What if I told you the story of Adam and Eve isn't just a myth? In a few moments, I'm going to share an intriguing perspective that links these two ancestral figures to the people of the Stone Age. Before we begin, it's worth noting that the Judeo-Christian story of Adam and Eve isn't the only account of the first humans, nor is it the first. There are stories all across the globe which try to explain how humanity was created. For example, Ask and Embla were the first humans from the Norse sagas who emerged from a tree, while according to the Hindu tradition, Manu and Shatrupa were the first beings to sire the human race. Even East Asia has two divine twins, Izanagi and Izanami, who created the people of Japan. These recurring motifs, known as mythemes, likely originated in the Neolithic, when the first towns began to appear in the Middle East and Anatolia. During this period, humans developed a closer relationship with the natural world through agriculture and pottery. As we began shaping the earth with our hands, this motif was reflected in our myths, as the gods themselves began moulding humans from clay. For instance, in China, the creator goddess Nuwa moulded her people from the clay of the Yellow River. In Sumeria, the gods Enki and Ninmah also formed humanity from the mud of the Euphrates, while in Egypt, the creator god Khnum crafted his people on a potter's wheel. These creation stories gained prominence during the Bronze Age, and they spread out across the entire planet. It can be found in Greece, where Prometheus crafted humans from clay, or in New Zealand, where the Maori god Tain shaped the first woman from soil. And much to my surprise, it seems this mytheme even made its way across the Pacific into Mesoamerica. In the Mayan account of creation, the gods Tepu and Gukumats created the first humans from earth, calling them the Mud People. When this myth first emerged, it likely began with a single tribe, and if I were to hazard a guess, I'd say the people of Jericho are a likely candidate. This early town utilised agriculture and pottery, and they crafted many figurines to decorate their homes with. One figure that caught my eye was this two-headed sculpture, which is the earliest known bicephalic statue in recorded history. It depicts two intertwined figures fashioned from a single clay block. It's as though these twin entities are emerging from the very essence of the earth. Is it possible this is the first depiction of the divine couple from world myth? We can only speculate, but figurines like this became prevalent in Africa, Europe, and Asia during the Neolithic. By placing an idol like this in your home, you are engaging in a daily ritual that reminds you of your collective origins. This simple act transforms the figurine into a powerful symbol that embodies the shared spirit of humanity. Could this narrative have played a role in reducing tribal tensions and fostering a common sense of identity? We'll never know the true impact of this narrative. But during the formation of these early towns, there were no signs of conflict, suggesting this was a relatively peaceful time. What we do know is that this story was incredibly influential, as it spread out from the Middle East and travelled across the entire length of the globe. As it migrated from one continent to the next, new cultures adopted this tale, changing it just a little to suit their values and beliefs. However, over thousands of years, these little changes became more exaggerated, leading to significant changes from the original narrative. While certain elements remained, like humans being made from clay, the myth evolved into many different forms, each reflecting the distinct character of the people who were telling it. Over time, the underlying narrative of a unified people became lost or obscured. Today, our cultural diversity is often celebrated with events like the Olympics, the Eurovision Song Contest, and the Cannes Film Festival. These occasions showcase the richness of our global traditions and embrace our collective diversity. However, this diversity has also contributed to increasing tensions, as seen with illegal migration, the refugee crisis, nationalism, and the rise of global conflict. In navigating these challenging times, it's important that we don't lose sight of our shared humanity. And this brings me back to the story of the first man and woman. Is it possible for us to invoke these figures once again in the spirit of uniting us around a shared narrative? Well, according to science, the answer is yes. In the late 20th century, geneticists discovered that we all share a common lineage, tracing back to two individuals from Africa. They named these figures mitochondrial Eve and Y-chromosomal Adam, after the first man and woman from the Old Testament. This scientific discovery mirrors the creation story of our ancestors, building a bridge between the sacredness of myth and the insights of science. Based on these empirical findings, the story of the first man and woman is no longer just a metaphor, it's a historical fact. Just to clarify, they never knew one another as they were separated by thousands of years, but together they represent the common ancestors of all modern humans. In essence, we are all part of the same family with roots that trace back to these two individuals. In a world increasingly defined by borders and ideologies, we are constantly bombarded with narratives of division, conflict, and polarization. But it doesn't have to be this way. There are stories from our past which have the power to unite us. Myths that embrace our shared heritage, help us understand our place in the world, and connect us with something greater than ourselves. By revisiting these myths and viewing them through a modern lens, we can rediscover the deep bonds that once united us, reminding us that our shared humanity is far stronger than the divisions that separate us today. This is what my series Faithscape will be focusing on. Universal stories that promote our common heritage, such as the hero's journey, the struggle between order and chaos, and prophecies of a new age that will reshape this world. Myths aren't just relics of the past, they are living narratives that continue to shape our collective experience. These universal stories are steeped in universal themes, and they provide a framework for understanding our shared humanity and our place in the world. If you're interested in exploring other myths and religions within this tree, feel free to like and subscribe. Oh, and by the way, did I mention this infographic is available on Shopify? Just check out the links below if you want to learn more. Thanks for listening, and get ready for a deep dive into our shared spiritual heritage. Ciao for now.